What's going on, everybody? In today's video, we are starting Rush Power Windows. Before we start, let me apologize again for the audio quality of Grace Under Pressure, which totally sucks. I'm going to try and make sure that doesn't happen again. I don't know. It is super frustrating on my end. I don't understand why, but I'm going to just, I don't know. I'm going to just do it. I'm going to try and do things until it doesn't sound like shit, right? So sorry, and that's also not what I heard. So I heard good quality and I got my ears in again, all that kind of thing. Everything that I heard was fantastic. But anyways, just to say that again. And also, if you're new here, this is the first video of the album. And if you have not seen what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, this video is longer because I go through what do we know about the album. I go through the Wikipedia page of the album, basically, because I don't know anything about it. I want to know things about it before I listen to it. Just a little, not like anything insane, but you know. Anyways, there's your little pretext. Get ready. All right, if that's what we're doing today, the first track of Power Windows, which is, I don't even have what it is yet, The Big Money. I've actually heard The Big Money before. There are two tracks on this album that I've heard before that I did live performance reactions to months ago, like the beginning of the year. And that was The Big Money and Marathon. I have heard before, but it's been that long since I've heard it, so it'll probably sound new to me. For the most part, we'll see if I recognize anything. If you're new here, please subscribe, check out my videos, all kinds of videos, reaction videos, bass videos, music videos, all kinds of videos, check it out. In the description below, I got Amazon affiliate links to all things Rush, bass gear, music gear that I use, check it out. If you like the channel, if you want to support the channel, if you want to say thanks, many ways. You can hit super thanks underneath this video. You can hit me direct in the description. I got PayPal, Venmo, our mailing address, our Amazon wish list in the description. Thank you. Thank you to everybody that has sent me anything in our mailbox, anything from the Amazon wish list. Send us PayPal, Venmo, super thanks. Thank you, 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 thank you. It's freaking amazing. It definitely makes a difference. Okay, Power Windows. What do we know? The 11th studio album, released October 11th, 1985. After touring in support of their previous album, Grace Under Pressure, the band took a break and reconvened in early 1985 to begin work on a follow-up. Material continued to display the band's exploration of synthesizer-oriented music, this time with the addition of sampling, electronic drums, a string section, and choir, with power being a running lyrical thing. Interesting. Okay, Power Windows was recorded in Montserrat in England with Peter Collins as co-producer and Andy Richards on additional keyboards. Okay, very interesting. Yeah, the Grace Under Pressure producer did not last. The album reached number 2 and okay, blah, blah, blah. 2 singles, The Big Money and Mystic Rhythms. Okay, all right. In November 84, the band ended their concert tour in support of their previous album. After a short respite, the group started work for a follow-up in 1985. Lifeson looked back at this period and noted their conscious effort in taking the strongest elements of their previous 2 records, Signals and Grace Under Pressure, capitalizing on them for Power Windows. To Lifeson, this resulted in a more cohesive and satisfying album. In February 85, Rush had relocated to Allura Sound Studios in Allura, Ontario to write and rehearse new songs. Peart would write a set of lyrics from the studio's farmhouse, while Lifeson and Geddy Lee worked on music to fit Peart's words in the adjacent barn, which housed a 24-track recording studio. Peart worked on a small desk in his room about the size for a 5-year-old. During this time, Peart researched the Manhattan Project to write lyrics for the same titled song. He also had a head start, having written outline lyrics for The Big Money, Mystic Rhythms, and Marathon before these sessions had begun. Lee and Lifeson sorted through jams recorded at sound checks on tour and Lifeson's own tapes of ideas to assemble music for the 3 tracks, with each song taking up to a week. They then began on Middletown Dreams, Marathon once again, and then Grand Designs. Having worked out some material, Rush underwent a 5-day warm-up tour in Florida in March 85 to sharpen their performance and to test the new songs on stage prior to recording. Peart continued to work on lyrics in his hotel room in Miami. Following their warm-up gigs, the band returned to Laura and continued working on their new songs, their breakaway being a positive impact on their work upon returning. Peart had initially struggled to finish Territories and Manhattan Project, but now they just fell together. On their first day back at Allura, Peart began work on lyrics for a motion detector, as the group had discussed the possibility of recording a ballad for their new album. Upon presenting his words to Lee and Lifeson, his lyrics fit to the piece of music that his bandmates were working on at the time. This was followed by Rush arranging the music for a motion detector and Territories, after which they had assembled a demo tape of 7 new songs ready to present to Collins for recording. Later in 1985, Peart told an interviewer that Rush's sound is changing from having been progressive to not being progressive. He noted that though the album might seem simpler, it was just as difficult to compose and perform. Lifeson expressed some resistance to the emphasis on keyboards during this period of their history. He noted the trend began on Signals, which pushed his guitar parts too far into the background as a result. However, he thought Rush achieved a much greater balance of the two instruments on Power Windows, which he thought Moving Pictures successfully had done. Okay, recording. Rush recorded Power Windows from April to August 1985 in 5 different recording studios. The group recorded Power Windows with the new producer Peter Collins. During their warm-up gigs in Florida, the band first met Australian engineer James Jimbo Barton, who Collins had recommended. They accepted, and Peart later praised Barton's contributions and suggestions to the band, considering his small recommendations to improve a song, which he referred to as events, was just what we were looking for. Lifeson compared the experience of recording Power Windows as more pleasant and fun than Grace Under Pressure, which presented various problems for the band. Yeah, it was a dark record. He added that the album contained elements that Rush had not incorporated before and broke several boundaries that had existed with previous albums. Lee supported this view and said the group decided not to hold anything back and make the album first and focus later on the music's onstage representation. Recording began at the Manor Studios in Oxfordshire, England, where the basic rhythm keyboards and bass tracks were recorded more quickly than usual in the span of 2 weeks to capture more spontaneous performances ready for overdubs. Here, the music was recorded using 2 Studer A800 24-track tape machines with an SSL console. It was during sessions at the Manor where Rush brought in musician Andy Richards to play additional synthesizers and assist in the programming. His rig consisted of a Wave PPG 2.3 synthesizer connected, which is what they used on Grace Under Pressure, right? Connected to a Roland Super Jupiter module through a MIDI system, a Yamaha QX1 digital blah 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 blah. Okay, in one instance, Peart's drum tech Larry Allen drove with him to London to collect a set of African and Indian drums to use on Mystic Rhythms and bongos for Territories. Mixing began in July after the band took 1 week break from the material, which coincided with decisions on the final running order, artwork, credits, and photos. In August, the string section was recorded, which featured a 30-piece orchestra in Studio One at Abbey Road Studios. Rush wanted musician and arranger Ann Dudley to complete the string arrangements, which she agreed to, and the group was conducted by Andrew Price Jackman. 25-piece choir was recorded at Angel Recording Studios for the ending of Marathon. The album completed, Lee oversaw the mastering in New York City in September, and proofs were approved for the album cover. Cool. Power Windows has been met with mostly positive reviews from music critics. This cat described the album as Rush's coldest album, citing the sparse horn-like guitar playing of Lifeson, the prominent synthesizer of Lee and Peart's crisp clinical percussion, and stark lyrical themes. However, he also described the album as one that rewards patience and repeated listenings. Okay, Rolling Stone positive review of the album highlighted a number of bands that seemingly influenced Power Windows, such as The Police, U2, Genesis, and I never know how to say it, Suey and the Banshees. Suisi? I don't know how to say that. I've seen that name before. I don't know their music though. The review concludes that Power Windows may be the missing link between Yes and the Sex Pistols. Interesting. 2005, the album was ranked blah, 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 blah. Power Windows introduced more synthesizers into the band's sound. During the period when the album was produced, the band were expanding into new directions from their progressive rock base, having tightened up their sidelong suites and rhythmic abstractions into balled-up song fists. That's crazy, because remember I was doing this with Permanent Waves? I was like, they took Rush and they made it into this amazing, really tight, compact, yeah, balled up song fists, art pop blasts of angular slashing guitar, spatial keyboards, and hyper percussion, all resolved with forthright melodic sense. Power Window's lyrics are focused primarily on various manifestations of power. For example, Territory's comments on nationalism around the world, like Subdivisions from Signals, Middletown Dreams explores suburban monotony and the average person's attempts to temporarily escape it. Grand Designs was partly written to criticize mainstream music, which the group believes was too superficial. The song also echoes individualist themes such as nonconformism. Okay, now to what we're getting to today, the big money. The big money features the sampling of Pierce's voice using an AMS sampler and triggered through his Simmons drum kit. All right, let's get to this right now. The big money. Bam. The drums sound more reverb. Eddie's voice is not in the mix. Like, it's not that in your face. I almost feel like I'm like straining to hear it more. So much reverb. Those drums. Sometimes we like the tower, sometimes knocking castles down, sometimes giving you a stairway, lock you underground. It's that old time religion, it's the kingdom they will rule. It's that fool on television, getting paid to play the fool. Sequencer just like kind of like took what Neil did. Yeah, there's another one right there, right? And again, they're a trio, but with lots of effects. noticed it earlier. I like that transition. I like the outro. I dig it. Did they take, is that outro from another one of their songs? It sounds familiar to me. Maybe it's because I heard this song before. The entire rest of the song, nothing triggered at all. Like, oh, I remember this, or oh yeah, I've heard this before. Nothing, except that last part. I don't know why. Weird. Yeah, effects, reverb, effects on Geddy's voice, effects on the drums, you know, lots of that stuff. I like there was that part that I was trying to catch that Neil played something rhythmically, and when he was done with it, whatever that sequencer, synthesizer, whatever, picked it up right where Neil left off, and it like kind of like zipped right past my ear over here. And then as I was saying that, another one went this way. But I thought it was cool because the first one, whatever it was, I don't remember exactly what it was. You know, I don't know. That was cool. I mean, in terms of the song, everything, I thought it was fine. I thought it was cool. Yeah, I'm kind of just like, you know, this is my first listen. I'm kind of just picking up on what they sound like now. You know, different producer, different, you know, a year later in the 80s, just all of it, you know, going through their Duran Duran Flock of Seagulls stage, you know, just trying to pick up on it. So, yeah, I thought it was cool. I dug it. Yeah, how are they? I really don't remember watching it live. Like, I don't remember. I know I did it, but I don't remember it, like, at all. So I'm like, now that I heard the record, I'm like, how are they doing this live? Like, how are they doing it? Because Geddy's playing bass throughout it, throughout, like, the majority of this song. There was one part where there was, like, a low synth bass that came in. That was cool. But for the most part, he's playing bass throughout it. So how are they doing all this live with all these keyboard parts? And they brought in an additional keyboard player. I mean, so much of Rush sounds that way anyways. That's why I'm always like, really? You guys are just like triggering samples. I'm still not, I don't know, you know, it's still crazy to me because I'm like, you guys are a 4-piece. Come on, guys. Come on. Anyways, you know, like, really, you just hit a button and then it triggers a sample that plays this whole entire thing. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. Anyways. It's whatever. It's what it is. I mean, I understand. Don't pay an extra person more money for you guys. Totally get it. Especially, you know, I mean, back then you guys had budgets. Nowadays, forget it. You know, you guys were working smart back then. Good on you. But anyways, yeah, that was cool. All right, The Big Money. Amazing. All right, up next we got Grand Designs. Gonna check this out. I've never heard this song before. I'll catch you then later.